Welcome back to Silverstone, the home of British motor racing, for the second round of the 2026 GB3 Championship. Yesterday, the drivers went at some serious pace. They were fighting from the very first corner, really getting this season off to an epic start. We've got drivers returning from last year, we've got new drivers on the grid, and we've got drivers that have won races before and been on the podium before, and it was Nikita Bedrin who won the first race yesterday to start his season in the perfect way. I'm Jon Jackson, joined by former British F3 driver Piers prior, and it'll be Nikita Bedrin who starts on pole position for this upcoming race, Piers, and it's getting warmer as the day goes on.
Yeah, we started the day very cold for the first GB4 race, but conditions getting back to where they were, perfect racing conditions like we had yesterday.
With all the anticipation of a brand new season, it was epic to see these drivers properly throwing themselves in at the deep end and fighting from the very first couple of corners. Deegan Fairclough, one of the drivers, making some big moves there, but as I said, it was Nikita Bedrin who won the first race of the season, so let's watch how he did it.
Highlights from round number one of the GB3 Championship, partnered by the BRDC. Nikita Bedrin would lead from pole position, but it wasn't long before Molnar was able to steal away the race lead, heading down into the opening complex. Through Magnus Beckers and Chapel they'd go, and a little bit of contact would see Bedrin forced off the road as Deegan Fairclough would try and find his way through into third. But going on the attack was Bedrin, firing it straight down the inside as he was able to get his way past Rem, who was going for the switchback and back around the outside. Few drivers were finding the absolute limits of the racetrack before going out wide, going through Luffield. Unfortunately for a couple of those drivers, dropping right the way down the field. Battle for the race lead though was on as Nikita Bedrin would find his way through and past Molnar. A brilliant move as they were heading through Vale. This was Lucas Fluscher, who unfortunately on the outside Nakamura will go for a bit of a spin. We'll be able to get back going again without any major issues. Unfortunately for Vinci, it would be a retirement from the race, and this would cause the safety car, which would bunch everyone together. Once the green flag was back out, it was Bedrin pulling away once more, trying to keep Molnar at bay as Deegan Fairclough was going on the attack. Moore looks down.
Great to see Nikita Bedrin starting the season off so well. He's obviously a driver that's driven many different cars. He's been in FIA F3 before, and now he's in GB3, starting his season off perfectly. As I say, he will start this upcoming race on pole position again. A word from Martin Molnar, he's been very quick in testing as well, and to get a podium straight away in the first race of the season for him, very impressive that he's got to grips with this car so quickly.
Very impressive indeed. He raced in Formula 4 last year, had a strong season, third in the British Championship of that, and now the big step up. It's a big step up for the drivers to go from a Formula 4 level to GB3. A lot more power, a lot more mechanical grip, a lot more aero grip, and arguably the quality of the field is exceptional. So for him to join now and be right at the front of the field, very impressive. Especially when Nikita Bedrin is one of the most experienced drivers in the world at this level.
Yeah.
He's been he's been at F3 level for a long time, but not quite had the opportunities or the budget to go higher. But he's showing his experience, and Martin was right there.
Yeah, good reason why Nikita Bedrin is involved in the DS Penske Formula E team as one of their development drivers as well. They obviously see what skill he has, and we've already seen it this weekend in the GB3 Championship. Also, Maxime Rem, back-to-back podiums for him because he was with us for that one round in Monza at the end of the year. So good to see him back. Also good to see Alex Catoulas back. He did GB3, and I think he did full season GB4, and now he's back in GB3 with Fortec Motorsport. It was in 9th place yesterday he finished, and he'll be starting 13th on the grid for this upcoming race, and Piers spoke to him yesterday.
Alex, your first race in GB3 in 26, of course, you're no stranger to GB3, but best known, I would say, for your escapades in GB4 last year. Talk to us about your return to GB3, the first weekend here at Silverstone so far. Race one just done.
Yeah, really enjoying it. It's been a bit of a tough pre-season, but just I think getting up to pace and keep working on myself and the team with the team. And yeah, had a really fun first race.
Of course, this is a new environment for you. We saw you with a different team in GB4, but Fortec, a very experienced team in GB3. How has it been, getting to know the car, the new team, all of that? You gelling in nicely?
Yeah, I think really experienced team, really knowledgeable guys here, so enjoying learning off them and kind of improving on myself.
You've mentioned improving on yourself. What sort of things are you working on? Of course, we saw you at the front consistently last year, so we know you can drive, but what's the things that you're actually concentrating on in terms of a technical perspective or your driving?
I think the GB4 car really suited me, so it was really intuitive to drive for me. I think this car is a bit more complicated with aerodynamics and whatnot, so just kind of learning that. I think not far off. just little adjustments, and I think we'll be there.
For those, well, most people watching this haven't driven a car with a huge amount of aerodynamics. What sort of things do you actually have to consider when you're changing or driving from a GB4 car, which does have aerodynamic grip, but of course GB3 is a whole other level of grip?
Yeah, I think the most important thing is the feeling with the car. You know, in GB4 you can get away with having a long slide through like a high-speed corner, but in GB3 that's not really what you want. So, and managing the aero platform and the floor and the rake and this kind of thing, that's really important. So just kind of learning that.
Sounds like there's a lot of precision in terms of the inputs on the car as well. You're moving into the first full season in GB3 this year with Fortec. What's your hopes of this full season? We saw you really came good, especially the second half of last year as well. So I suppose experience is valuable to you.
Yeah, I think just kind of keep building. Obviously, I think I would have wished for a better start to the season, but I think just there's only up from here, and I think just keep building. And I trust myself, I trust the team to be able to, fire at the front. So that's what I'm looking to do.
Thanks very much for taking time to chat to us, Alex. We'll continue. We'll keep an eye on that progress that you make.
Okay, thank you very much.
Alex Katulis there, you'll be able to see him. He starts 13th on the grid for Fortec, red and white car. Obviously, he's a driver that's been around this infrastructure, this paddock for a long time, so we'll hopefully see his progress as we go on for the rest of this year. Bad day yesterday for Abby Pulling, our returning driver with Road & Motorsport from last year, obviously not finishing the race. She's one of two drivers on the grid who has driven in F1 Academy before, obviously a former F1 Academy champion. Aurelia Nobles is the other one, the Brazilian driver who joins us this year. And kind of an interesting introduction for her yesterday.
Yeah, she was right in the thick of the action in that mid-pack there. Made some moves, also benefited from a couple of the drivers' misfortunes ahead, but it's good to have her in the championship with more females in the championship every year. Yeah,
lots of focus. As you walk around the paddock here, you'll see a lot of the F1 Academy drivers that we've had before will be getting a lot of interest, as well as Nikita Bedrin, obviously has driven in F3 as well with quite a lot of exposure there. Aurelia Nobles caught up with Piers, Piers caught up with Aurelia Nobles yesterday to find out how her first race went in the GB3 Championship.
Aurelia, you've had your first GB3 experience now. First of all, your first race in the championship. How have you found getting used to the GB3 car?
Well, first of all, I'm super happy. I think it was a very exciting race. Obviously, it's very different from F4, F1 Academy. So even during testing, just getting used to the car and learning even the tracks, because I didn't know any of them. I feel confident with the car. The race, well, I always say anything can happen. So it was just very, very crazy. Everyone was like overtaking, and it was really fun. For my first race, I think it was decent. Now we're gonna, look at everything and work from there, and try to improve every time.
Is it fair to say that these cars are a big step up from what you've driven before? How have you found that step up, both getting used to it and physically as well? Because I know these cars are a step up physically as well.
For sure, it's a big step up. I mean, the car is much heavier. There's a lot more downforce, and even the GB3 from last year, it's also an improvement with it's much faster in the straight line. So I think it's a really good preparation for F3, and yeah, physically as well, it's not as easy. I'm working really hard from my side at the gym and preparing myself, but it's a really nice car to drive.
Well, I'm glad you're enjoying it. That's a good start to the season. We've seen you do great things, of course, in the likes of Formula One and Academy. With Hill Speed, a team with a huge amount of experience in this level and also other championships as well. What brought you to Hill Speed, and what are your hopes for this season ahead?
Well, I'm super happy to be with Hill Speed. I think they did an amazing job last year as well. So I was already looking at some options, and I tested with them last year once, and I really enjoyed the team. I think they're very professional. And also the championship, so I think it's a very good preparation for the future.
Well, Aurelia, thank you so much for taking time to chat to us, and we'll see how the rest of the weekend goes for you.
Thank you.
Aurelia Nobles there, catching up with Piers Prime. What does she have to ask you? Just kidding. Good to see her here. Obviously, she'll be looking to make some progress this year as well with the Hill Speed team, a team that's always punched above its weight, I feel.
Yeah, they're a small independent team. They race it. This is the highest level that they race at, but we've seen in previous years they can absolutely operate at the highest level. We saw Freddie Slater and Kanato Lee do guest rounds and do amazing things. They've been right at the front in GB4 as well, and great for Aurelia Nobles to come and join a team like that with their wealth of experience at this level, and then prove that she's learning from them, and also that she's very much in the fight.
I want to say hello to everyone watching around the world. Obviously, I imagine there'll be some people watching back in Brazil watching Aurelia Nobles. I know she's a multinational, so there'll be people around the world watching Aurelia, as well as all of the other drivers being supported from everyone watching, and I appreciate it if you're up in the middle of the night or at a silly time. The GB3 Championship is something that's been running for a good few years now, and we've seen drivers go on to some great things. when you are a driver of this age, assuming you are a teenager, I know some of the drivers are older peers, how much pressure is there on you to perform? Because obviously it's not a cheap thing to do, and obviously you want to win every race and you have aspirations, and a lot of these drivers will want to get to F1 or IndyCar or maybe move into sports cars and go into WEC or something like that down the line. It's a lot of pressure for a young person. It shows a lot of maturity, the drivers that we see in this championship.
Very much so. Most of the drivers in the GB3 championship are in their late teens, or some of them in their early 20s, but a huge amount of pressure, because at this stage all these drivers have raced in, or most of them have raced in other categories, so they're experienced young racing drivers. They're trying to show basically the world and the industry that they are the next big thing, that they have the skills and the aptitude to be able to be professional racing drivers in the future. And there's a lot of pressure as well, because if you don't perform, as you mentioned, the cost is not insignificant. GB3 is a very cost-effective championship. However, motor racing is expensive by nature. These are high-performance machines. They're expensive to build. They're expensive to run, just by the nature of the fact that they're big, fast race cars with which have to be homologated. So therefore, there's that pressure as well. But to be honest, most of the pressure from most of the drivers is internal. They put the pressure on themselves. Very much young athletes are these young drivers. They're there to perform for themselves. They are the ones pushing themselves on. They are the ones that are hardest on themselves when they don't perform. They are the ones that take on the responsibility of that, and they all work so hard. They're all young professionals. They work hard behind the scenes to get themselves mentally in the right position. They train both on the simulator and physically, because let's not forget, these cars very, very physical to drive as well. That they're getting on for 3G round the corners, long weekends, lots of testing, the neck especially, because you've got a helmet on and the G-forces. It's all and all the different bits and pieces have to be in place to perform at the highest level, because the drivers at the front of this grid will be the best drivers in the world in years to come, and to be able to compete with them, you have to have all bases covered. So that's a pressure in itself, is to be, to make sure that you're not leaving any stone unturned.
It feels like when we see drivers who are successful, they've always got a very close-knit family. That always tends to be something that runs in it. And obviously it's frustrating when you are a young driver, when, let's be honest, the finances are something that's quite tough, and when you have to take a step back and not race, or maybe not race as much as you want, that must be very frustrating when you've been there challenging in the championship you've been driving in.
Yeah, very much so. I mean, I remember when I was racing at this level, even testing is expensive, because you have to use tyres, and per set it's an amount of money, and the more you can do, the better it is. And almost all the drivers on this grid will have some sort of budgetary constraint, so they have to make sure they make the most of every single session on circuit, so no lap is wasted, so they can learn as much as possible. But you're absolutely right, there's a lot of pressure on them to do that as well, and it's the drivers that can make the most of every opportunity that will do their best. And even drivers at the front of the field, like Nikita Bedrin, we touched on him a moment ago. He's a driver that realistically probably should have moved up and done a full season in F3. He's good enough to do that. He proved that yesterday, double pole position race win. But even drivers of that caliber, they can struggle to get the budget together, the right opportunities, if you haven't got the funding to get in the position. But Bedrin's doing a great job of putting himself in the shop window, and that's what this championship is all about.
Absolutely. We have the race before our race just going off in the background now. I'm sure you can hear that, the Gianetta's going off there. And it feels like there are a lot of young drivers. Obviously they rely on sponsors, but a lot of young drivers will rely on their families to help them out. So shout out to all the families that support these young drivers, because they're going on this journey as well. It's a proper eventful kind of thing, and it's obviously very rewarding to do this with the support of your family as well. Let's hear from a driver who's made the step up then from GB4 to GB3 this year. This is Leon Wilson chatting to Piers.
Leon, the start of the 2026 season in GB3 for you. I know I spoke to you after qualifying off camera, and you said you were disappointed you could have been a much higher up, but pretty solid race to start your season.
Yeah, the racecraft was positive, but didn't finish where we wanted to, but it was overall a fun race, going 3 wide into Abbey, but no, it was good.
How are you finding the step up from GB4 as one of our GB4 graduates into GB3? I imagine it makes a whole different circuit and ball game for Silverstone.
Yeah, it does. It's easier to drive, but you've got to be on the limit more to be able to be at the top of the pace. So we could have been P5 in qualifying, only been 2 tenths off, and then could have been 6th as well in the second one. But it's hindsight. Just need to get a lap in without any traffic, and we'll be there.
Absolutely, and you showed that you had the pace in that one in the racecraft, getting a top 10. I suppose, would you have taken that at the start of this weekend?
After the first session, no, but it's a top 10, it's points, so we need to keep getting points. There's going to be incidents, So as long as we keep going, see if we can keep going.
It's a step up from GB4, as we mentioned already. What's your hopes for this season in GB3?
Hopefully be top 3, but we need to keep going, keep pushing to get there. So we've got Spa next time, so hopefully we can be a little bit closer there.
It must be good to have that continuation as well with Arden. You worked with them really closely the last couple of years, moving up with the team as well into GB3 as well. So a good feeling. Does that help you with your preparation?
Yeah, it's been really helpful. Being on the sim as well the whole time, same sim every time, so I've been building the GB3 as much as possible. So a different engineer this year, but still being looked over by my old one last year. But no, it's overall really good.
Leon, thanks very much for your time, and we'll see how that transition from GB4 to GB3 materialises over the season.
Thank you.
Leon Wilson there, who was 10th yesterday. He'll start 14th in the race today. How do you assess him? I mean, we've only had one race so far, but obviously stepping up from GB4 to GB3 this year. How well do you think he can do?
I think he's got a good opportunity to push on as the year goes on. He's with Arden, who haven't got as much experience in GB3 as some of the other teams, but Leon was with them for last year and part of the year before in GB4, proved that he was a front-running driver in that. I feel like he's just been there or thereabouts, but not quite had that one step forward to really take it to the front and consistently take race wins and podiums, but he's not far away. Working well with the Arden team, they've got a couple of cars on the grid this year as well. I spoke to him after qualifying off camera as well, and he was saying he was disappointed where he qualified. He said if things went a bit differently, if he didn't get traffic or he placed the car better or just put his laps together, he would have been maybe even inside the top 5. So that's those fine margins we were chatting about in the little link beforehand, that you have to get everything right to put a weekend together and then do that over a season. You might have a chance at a championship.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, it's fascinating to see him stepping up and to see how he does. We see occasionally some drivers who'll step up to GB3 having never driven a race car before. They'll step up from karting.
Yeah.
How hard is that to do?
Yeah, I think one of the drivers that I look at on the grid who's done very little car racing.
On my list here.
Lewis Gilbert.
Lewis Gilbert, yeah.
Yeah, I've watched Lewis Gilbert in British karting scene for the last few years. He's been one of the best drivers in British and European and world level karting, especially in the Rotax categories for the last few years. No doubt his ability in terms of racecraft and speed, but then transferring that expertise from karting to cars is not an easy job. Most drivers who are the best in karting and are right at the front can then convert it, but it's not just a flick of a switch. You really have to reprogram your brain a little bit. It's a bit like the difference maybe between, I don't know, playing tennis and playing badminton. You've got all the aptitudes. I mean, that might be a bad analogy, but you've got all the aptitude. You just need to transfer it. You're athletic. You've got the handle weight. You can.
There's a lot of difference between a ball and a shuttlecock.
Yeah, maybe that was a bad reference.
Yeah, it's fine.
Shows
if anyone's got a better one, please tweet at GB3 Championship.
Well, clearly, I know more about motorsport than I do. Well, some may disagree, but I know more about motorsport than I do racket sports.
Yeah, you would hope so. But I know exactly what you mean. Do we ever get karters that are like standout karting champions who can't make that switch? Does it happen often?
No, it doesn't. Occasionally, some drivers struggle to make the switch more than others, but there are some that take to it quicker than others. And a lot of it is not just the driver, but it's the environment they go into. Have they got the right coaches around them? Have they got the right management? Have they got the right mentality as well? Because some drivers think, I'm the best karter in the world, I'm going to jump into something like GB3 and be absolutely fine. I'm not saying that Lewis Gilbert is like that at all. Whereas other drivers, they're open, they're sort of willing to have to learn and not be the best straight away, knowing that if they apply themselves well, they can get there.
We saw that with Cian Shields, didn't we? He came straight from karting straight into GB3 a couple of years ago, now in FIA F2. So, and also his hair has jumped from being quite short to being quite the barnet.
Impressive.
I have to say, yeah, if you ever get a chance to see Cian Shields' hair, it's certainly a specimen. Let's have a reminder of what the GB3 Championship is all about.
Welcome to the GB3 Championship. If you're new to the series, this is one of the most exciting single-seater categories in motorsport run by Motorsport Vision Racing, better known as MSVR. The 2026 season is shaping up to be another intense year of competition. We'll see over 20 hungry up-and-coming drivers battling it out, representing 10 teams. And this year, everyone is getting behind the wheel of the highly upgraded Tartas MSV GB3025 car, which has greater torque and improved aerodynamic performance compared to last year's model. So, how does a race weekend actually work? It all kicks off with 2 intense 15-minute qualifying sessions. The time set in those sessions form the grid for 3 action-packed 25-minute races, with the first session forming the Race 1 grid and the second session setting the Race 2 lineup. But here's the best part. Race 3 is a reverse grid contest, with the fastest 12 drivers reversed on the starting grid ahead of the rest of the pack. This means the fastest qualifiers start further back, guaranteeing plenty of overtaking, especially with the GB3 car's DRS system. Across the season, fans will be treated to 24 races, and for 2026, the series is expanding its horizons with the exciting new trips to legendary Formula 1 circuits, the Red Bull Ring and the Circuit de Barcelona Catalunya. Here is how the calendar breaks down. We start at Silverstone in April, followed by visits to European F1 track Spa-Francorchamps, the Hungaroring and the Red Bull Ring across May and July. Before heading back to the Silverstone Grand Prix circuit in August, September brings the annual visit to Donington Park, followed by the high-stakes penultimate event at Brands Hatch. Finally, we take one last trip to Europe to crown our champion at the season finale in Barcelona. Now let's talk strategy. Unlike Formula 1, there is no mandatory pit stops in GB3. However, each car is strictly limited to using a maximum of 8 tyres. That is just 2 sets for an entire race weekend, including qualifying. Therefore, mastering tyre management is absolutely critical to winning. But what are they racing for? Aside from glory, it's all about FIA Super License points. To eventually race in Formula 1, a driver needs to collect 40 of these points over 3 years. In GB3, the top 5 drivers in the final standings will earn points, with the 2026 champion taking home 10 points towards their Formula 1 dream. There are also some fantastic bonus prizes up for grabs. The Jack Cavill Pole Position Cup returns this year, rewarding any driver who grabs pole position with £300. At the end of the year, the driver with the most poles overall wins a special trophy and a £2,000 bonus, and the team of that driver gets £2,000 as well. Finally, keep an eye out for the Omologato One to Watch award. Every weekend, the driver who scores the highest combined points across the first 2 races is presented with a stunning Omologato watch.
Thank you very much, Lewis. A beautiful description of the GB3 Championship. Someone is whistling and waving. I'm not entirely sure what's going on behind here, but anyway, let's take a look at some of the cars in the assembly area. Piers, if you could enlighten me as to why the man is whistling so much.
No, I have no idea. But I was actually chatting to VRD because I was inquiring about the red and white checkered front wing end plates of Nikita Bedrin's cars. Apparently it's to do with Mission Foods, which may well be one of the sponsors. It's one of their logos there. So great to see some of the drivers getting some support and the teams getting some support from sponsors who are seeing value in the GB3 Championship.
Do they make wraps?
Yes, they do.
Do they?
Wraps and potato chips, apparently.
Well, I'll tell you what, I love wraps and potato chips, so if you'd like us to talk about it more on the broadcast, just let us know. So Nikita Bedrin, a great race for him yesterday. He's going to be wanting to get a good start today because he doesn't want to have to do any overtaking, does he? He wants to be out there from the start.
Absolutely. He dominated yesterday. Didn't get the start he wanted, had to fall back and work for the race win, but we've seen him move through the field. But interesting.
The steering wheel,
yeah, interesting. Cool. We've got an opportunity to look at the driver's steering wheel, which is on the front of Nikita Bedrin's car. They're just to the right-hand side on the tub. That is what the drivers will. Of course, they hold the steering wheel, but you can see there the grips on the right-hand, left-hand sides. The drivers often wrap racket, bring it in, nice tie in there, racket sport grips around the handles of the steering wheel because such is the force, no power steering in GB3 and none in most single-seaters up to Formula 1. Formula 1 does, but they have to put so much force through the steering wheel that if you can have a bit of extra grip on your gloves, it can really help and stops you getting blisters because a lot of the drivers genuinely on a race weekend, they will develop blisters on the palms of their hands if they can't grip the steering wheel well. And you'll notice all the buttons as well, so you've got DRS button on the top right hand side of the green button, the radio button, so they can contact the team. And
Talk
then
to me about the rain button that we can see there, the purple one on the left.
That's the rain light. So when the rain comes down or if it's dark, the drivers will press that, and then you'll see on the rear of the cars the light of the crash structure, and also 2 lights at the top corners of the rear wings to aid visibility in the tricky conditions.
Well, you really are getting your fill with racket sports references today, Piers. Thank you very much for that. Yeah, the grip tape, very important. Pardon?
You're most welcome.
Well, yeah, the grip tape there is fascinating to see, and obviously very important when you see these drivers' hands. We are racing here at Silverstone this weekend. Of course, Deegan Fairclough has had some pretty good weekends here. We'll talk more about him after we take a look at the track.
And so it's the home of British motorsport then that opens the GB3 Championship for 2025. The iconic circuit with iconic corners as well. Maggots, Beckers and Chapel, of course, Copse, the run into Stowe. You've got the Abbey Village Loop section as well, and then round towards Brooklands. Of course, new for 2025 is those 2 DRS activation points, one on the Hanger Straight and one on the Wellington Straight as well. Round Luffield and out through Woodcote onto the start-finish straight, which of course is on the national side. 18 turns around here, of which plenty are great for overtaking. Most notably that Village Loop section. Those TDRS zones though, they're going to be very, very big when it comes to overtaking around this 3.6 mile, 5.8 kilometre circuit to open the season.
That is the iconic Silverstone circuit here. Lots of people here. If you are coming down, or if you're thinking of coming down, maybe I can attract you by saying in approximately, let me look at my watch, just under 2 hours, there will be a signing session so you can get to meet some of these young drivers. And I tell you what, I would imagine some of these drivers are going to go right to the very top. So if you get a signature now, you never know. If you're short of cash in a few years, you might be able to sell it for a good price. No, don't do that. Don't do that. It's stupid to do that. We can see, we saw Deegan Fairclough there. He'll start on the front row of the grid. And we're now looking at Maxime Remen, a driver that showed us straight away at the end of last year what he can do. He came into the championship just for the Monza weekend, and I mean he wasn't far from the podium at all. I mean he was on there with a race win as well, which was fascinating to see that he could get up to speed so quickly. I'm fascinated to know what the QR code on the side pods is all about. Have you tried scanning it?
Are you brave enough to scan it?
I'm going to live scan it now. I'll tell you what, while we have a look
I'll talk about the fact that Maxime Rem's another one of our drivers that's had to go up from Formula 4 to GB3, so a big step up again. He showed he was straight, comfortable and on the pace when we saw him in Monza last year, and then this year he's mirrored that pace that he had in Monza, in fact improved on it with the winter testing, and is now, I think, going to be a front runner with, of course, what is one of the front running teams in the championship.
Yeah, absolutely. I have scanned the QR code as we just watched Maxime getting ready there. It's the REM Group, which I presume is a family sponsor, which obviously is his sponsor on the car there. So if you want technology and innovation news, the news is on the website, but if you want some technology and innovation, I would highly recommend the REM Group. So there we go. If you want to scan the QR code, I don't know, can Andy get the QR code on the screen if anyone wants any help with their technology and innovation? There you go. You've got 5 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. There you go. Technology and innovation covered by the REM Group. Let's take a look at some of the other cars here. Maybe we'll have to shout out the other sponsors to make everything fair here. Hello to our friends at RTL Plus in Hungary with Martin Molnar here. I like this car. This car looks really
striking,
cool.
distinctive on the grid. Rodin generally have their white and black livery, and then a bit of a tweak for Martin with his sponsor. So great to see custom liveries. We had some pretty good custom liveries over the last couple of years. I remember Pat Hoytsenroder, who debuted in the F3 Championship this year. He had that, what did we call it?
Some kind of Miami vibe.
Miami blue, wasn't it? That was cool. But now we've got this Rodin of Martin Molnar, and not only does it look good, but it goes quick as well. Yeah,
let's take a look at that car, Martin Molnar, driving around this track here at Silverstone.
Let's take an onboard lap of the Silverstone Grand Prix circuit in the newly updated GB3 car for 2026. Rodin's Martin Molnar. We head through Copse Corner, almost flat out through there, watching track limits on the exit. We now head to the world famous and revered set of corners. Maggots on the right-hander, stay right to open up. Beckett's on the left-hander, and then one more Chapel. We go down one more gear. The exit through Chapel is critical to get a good run down the Hanger Straight. Very, very long run down the Hanger Straight, 770 metres. At the end of this straight we have Stowe, which is the scene of many of the overtakes we will see this weekend, both inside and outside. Down 2 gears as we head through Stowe. Apex in the middle, and then watch out for the blind exit. The track limits come up quickly. Now a big stopping point. Vale, also an overtaking opportunity in the races. The left-hander, try and stay left to open up the right of Club. If you can, go flat out through Club to give you the best run down the Hamilton Straight, past the wing on the right-hand side, and we're going to be flat out for over a kilometre through the Abbey and Farm section. Flat out through the right here, nipping the apex to the middle, opening the steering, trying to scrub as little speed as possible. We head left through Farm, which is purely setting up for the braking zone of this corner here, Village. Turn in late, make the apex, don't go all the way to the left-hand side because we have the loop up straight away afterwards. Get the car straight for good traction on the exit of the loop, and then we go flat out through Aintree. Now a 700-metre run flat out down towards Brooklands. Again, we're going to have DRS during the races here to allow drivers to overtake. We'll see inside and outside overtakes through here. braking so late, carrying minimum speed very high through the middle of Brooklands, and then one more proper corner, Luffield. First apex, then go out in the middle to give you a good exit. Don't need to make the second apex, but watch out for track limits on the exit. Then the flat out run through Woodcote gives us a lap of the Silverstone Grand Prix circuit in GB3.
Yeah, that's what it looks like from this man's perspective. He'll be out on the track very, very soon for our second race of the 2026 GB3 Championship. Martin Molnar there with Rodian Motorsport. His teammate Abby Pulling just behind. She's just taken looks like a final drink before she gets ready to go out there. And disappointing day for Abby yesterday. It was a disappointing end, you could say, to her day. And she's going to be looking to make up for that, isn't she?
Absolutely. Abby was right in the fight for the podium place, but unfortunately we saw her race ended early, and she's, as always, supported by Alice Powell, former driver. Alice, quick word. Disappointing end to Abby's day yesterday, but bouncing back today.
Yeah. Abby's just said on the radio, you better say nice things about me. Well, we have... Apparently you smell, Piers.
Can you smell me from here?
No, it was, unfortunate, didn't get the best of starts, and then, suspension failure at the end, but hoping for some good fun today, make some places forward. It's early days in the championship, still a long way left to go. Rodi know they've got a good car, you can just see for how all of them are qualified in the top 5, so hoping to make a load of places.
Still in good spirits?
Yeah, I think so, by the looks of her. She's chattering to give you even more abuse, but I'm not going to repeat any of it.
It's okay, I've got abuse in my ear as well, it's fine, it's all good. Anyway, Abby Pulling there will be going from the inside of row 3. She'll be looking for a good result today.
Thank you very much, Piers. Couldn't hear a word you're saying there. These cars are incredibly loud. Just behind Abby Pulling then on the, third row of the grid, we have Patricio Gonzalez. Okay, well, we'll ignore Patricio Gonzalez. He is there, I promise. We'll go back to him, 21, car number 21. To Rowan Campbell-Pilling. That is this car, don't worry, with the XL Motorsport team. Did a big unveiling of this car. I saw some footage of this. There was a stage and everything.
Yeah.
And obviously really taking things seriously. And actually it was good to see that they were doing that, and obviously all the sponsors were there and they really, I feel, part of something.
Yeah, Rowan's one of these drivers that's very much aware of the corporate and financial side of things in motorsport. He works very hard behind the scenes to make sure that he has all the funding and support that he needs, and that unveiling of the car with all the sponsors in his hometown of Sheffield, which he's very proud to be from, was really good to see, actually. A really professional way to launch the year, and he's backing up the backing and the marketing with some really strong results. He's been consistently inside the top 6 or 7 positions, and actually I'd say qualifying in this grid he's down in 7th place. Arguably could have been higher based on his pace and testing.
Teammate Lucas Flusha alongside him in 8th place there. Some subtle differences in the cars. Actually these look fairly similar apart from the wing mirror colours. They're very hard to tell apart, I guess, so commentary will be interesting for you, but you know, as a driver returning, it wasn't his day yesterday, a bit of an incident for him.
Yeah, unfortunately Lucas not the best day yesterday, but we know he's got pace. He was especially towards the end of last year, had some really strong results. We saw him really move on throughout the season, made the move over to XL. We spoke to him ahead of the race weekend, and he's really feeling at home with that, and with a strong teammate alongside him in Rowan Campbell-Pilling as well, and he's looking forward to a good year, and also doing a dual campaign with LMP3. Very busy man, and a lot of time on circuit this season.
Well, I'll tell you what, I feel like we should go and see Patricio Gonzalez on the right here, the Rodin Motorsports car, but he's got sorry, not Rodin.
VRD.
Yeah, VRD. My mistake. So many Rodins. They're all black and white. With the beautiful. I love the yellow and red accents here, and also with the wrap sponsor or the checkers on the front wing.
Yeah, it's great to see Patricio coming back again this year, staying with VRD. VRD have made a real step forward this season. They were in the mid-pack learning their way in GB3, but this year with a 3-car lineup, Patricio, Rodrigo, the brothers, and then Nikita Bedrin, who took the win yesterday, whatever work they've been doing over the winter has clearly been working, because right at the front of the grid, and it's great to see the Gonzalez brothers also taking a step forward themselves too.
Yeah, I mean, they came into this championship, didn't they, kind of cold and just got stuck in, which I think you have to admire, really, without having all that testing before pre-season. You just come in mid-season and go, well, we'll give it a go and see what happens, and they were pretty good straight away.
Yeah, very much so. They got to grips with the championship last year. This is a real push for them. It will be really good to see Patricia and Rodrigo use the experience or learn from the experience of Nikita Bedrin, who's had 3 or 4, or I think getting on for 5 years of experience at below F3 level single-seater racing, and that experience is really valuable to the team, but also as teammates. Patricio and Rodrigo can look at what Nikita is doing, both in terms of his driving technique, but also the racecraft as well, and they'll be able to learn from that.
I have to say, I'm just looking at Martin Molnar. I know we're looking on the screen here at our pole sitter, but Martin Molnar's helmet is something resplendent. If you come back to me, Andy, come and look at this. I think people are going to love this. Look at the side of this helmet.
I think Martin's got some sort of watch sponsorship or something, because it says chronograph on the side there, very much the watch mechanisms, is the styling on their helmet. And it's interesting how the different drivers, they sort of get an identity with their helmets. The drivers like to keep similar style, but also they can get some sponsorship alongside there as well. So it'd be interesting to hear about that maybe when we get the chance to chat to Martin another time.
Yeah, and of course we have Omologato, who are the official watches of the GB3 Championship, and there's the award as well.
The One to Watch Award.
The One to Watch Award, and it does say 1 on the side of the car. Maybe it's an Omologato, I don't know. I mean, someone tell me, but yeah, it's a tricky situation for the drivers right now, because the race before started late, so they're sitting around waiting. The cars are revving up. Is that a tricky time for a driver, because you've gone through your pre-race build-up, you've stretched, you're ready, you're amped up, but then if you have to sit and cool down for a bit, there's time to overthink, there's also time to cool down. That must be hard for a driver.
It's something the drivers have to find their own way of managing. We spoke to Alice Powell, and Abby Pulling was chatting on the radio to Alice Powell, making jokes while I was live on TV. Other drivers
That's not like Abby.
No, I know. Some drivers like to stay, very relaxed and joking and sort of very much in the moment. Other drivers like to be very introverted, concentrate on the start, and you have to figure out what works for you. What works for one driver might not work for another, because some people feel like they need to rev themselves up for the race and get really focused. Other drivers find they perform best when they're relaxed and calm. So that's something the drivers will be doing in all the series up to it, including GB3, and they will still be making adjustments based on how they think the weekends go.
We hear a lot in single-seater racing about strategy, and obviously it's a little bit different from F1, where you'd have your pit stop strategy. What are the strategic considerations you're making as a team? I guess it would be largely down to tyres and where you're choosing to use your new tyres and in which races. But obviously, there's not a lot you can do in race in terms of strategy like you would see in Formula 1 with deciding on a 1-stop or a 2-stop.
We don't have regulation pit stops in the races in GB3. 25-minute races, not long enough to get that done. But you're absolutely right. Tyres are one of the main strategic things that the teams and drivers can use to their advantage, or to try and do something different. 2 sets of brand new Pirelli slick tyres, which have to do both the qualifying sessions, which set the grid for race 1 and race 2 respectively, and then that partial reverse grid race 3, and you can select when you use those tyres. Now, almost all of the teams and drivers will use their 2 sets, 1 for the qualifying 1 for qualifying 2, because they're fastest in that first heat cycle. But then how you then use those tyres for the 3 races can affect when you have pace, when you want to be strong. The drivers that are maybe a foot towards the front in that partial reverse grid may save their best tyres for then. And also you can select the tyre pressures in each race based on when you think you want to be strong. Higher tyre pressures generally mean you're going to be faster at the start of the race. Lower tyre pressures generally mean you're going to be strong at the end of the race.
Perfect. Well, look at Abby Pulling's front wing here, just while we've got a moment to talk about it. It's the names of some people that have supported her on her path to get back on the grid, and there was obviously some big names there. Let's have a look at some of the names. Ian Bolton. Shout out to Ian Bolton, Christopher Chen, Steve Matthews. Oh no, wait, that check bounced. We've got Georgia van der Heever. Not entirely sure who that one is. Team Bruners. I can't pronounce some of these names, but it just shows how important it is for these drivers to have support from every sort of possibility. And Abby's been very actually progressive and had support in a different way. Obviously there are sponsors involved, but having people who have actually followed her career and really enjoy watching her race support her is also very meaningful to them, and that's how she's chosen to represent them on her car.
It's really nice for me to see how these drivers are starting to get a lot of support and almost a following, and they're able to build a bit of a profile as young drivers, because they'll need that to go racing in the future, and also it helps them keep on the grid.
Well, look, we're just hearing the cars firing up. We can see Nikita Bedrin, who will start on pole position for this second race of the 2026 GB3 Championship. It's Silverstone, it's the home of British motor racing. The sun is out, and for the second time this weekend, let's go racing.
Day 2 of the exciting and thrilling GB3 Championship gets underway with race number 2. Our journey around Europe will begin here at the home of British motor racing, as it did a year before. And a fantastic fight we had last year. We'll see if we'll get very much the same thing. It built up with quite the fight yesterday, with a great battle between Nikita Bedrin and Martin Molnar. They had a fight around this part of the section, side by side through club they went, as Nikita Bedrin was able to retake over the race lead. 2 DRS zones around the circuit, one of which obviously on the Wellington Straight and one on the Hangar Straight. The Hangar Straight one being longer, but the Wellington Straight does take us down into Brooklands. A great overtaking opportunity for the drivers, of which we have 23 take to this circuit, and we will be ready to see them do battle once more. They work their way out of the assembly area and towards the grid, where they'll begin their formation lap once again. Nikita Bedrin was the force to be reckoned with yesterday. Had the pole position, had the victory, had the fastest lap as well, but did not lead all of the laps. It was an excellent start from Martin Molnar, who started from second position to take over the race lead. Today he'll be starting from 4th place. A few drivers who had issues yesterday were looking to bounce back after it. Obviously, Abby Pulling retired from the race after starting from 4th. Definitely looking for more on that. Lucas Fleischer, as mentioned earlier on the show, down in the assembly area, had great pace yesterday, and actually had worked his way up really well on the grid, but had a bit of an issue and a bit of an altercation, dropped down the order, still was able to work his way back up into 12th position. A few of our debutants though did really well. Kyuho Lee and Jin Nakamura, obviously debutants here in the GB3 Championship anyway, 7th and 8th. Of course, Martin Molnar, 2nd position. Nikita Bedrin, yes, debutant in this championship anyway, a victory for him. And Leon Wilson up from GB4 into the top 10. Now that is Martin Molnar, maybe unable to get the car fired from the assembly area, so despite second yesterday, will return his way into pit lane for the Rodin team. That is a big shame indeed. And so it does mean that Max Rem, who we saw there, will start alongside absolutely no one on the grid. I don't have no one alongside me in the comedy box. I have Formula 3 commentator Piers Pryor. I'm McGlade, joined by Piers Pryor this afternoon, and or this morning still, technically, I guess. And honestly, we're ready for another great race. There's a couple of bits out of position I think the marshal's trying to sort out here, Piers.
Yeah, I think maybe a bit of shuffling going on down the order, but disappointment already for Molnar, because he was looking to consolidate his good start to the season, but looks like some sort of issue is going to keep him from the grid. Almost certainly going to have a pit lane start, if at all he can get that car going. But we know he's got the pace, so even if he does get going, he may well be able to climb up a few positions, but this could turn into a damage limitation one for Martin. No problems at the front of the field, though, for Nikita Bedrin so far, and alongside him, watch out for that silver and black car, the number 6 of Deegan Fairclough. We saw him carve his way through the field last season, didn't we, Lewis, when he had that issues in qualifying? He managed to make tens of places over the 3 races. Doesn't need to make as many places today, only needs to make 1 to get his win.
Indeed, 7 podiums last season for Deegan Fairclough, including 1 victory, which he had, of course, in the second race at Monza, looking for very much something similar here today. Last year, when he started from the back of the field, finished in 17th, 22nd and 7th across the weekend, so already is scoring much healthier compared to that with the 4th place finish in the previous. Away we go then for the formation lap, and Nikita Bedrin will take us around the circuit. We will hope that Martin Molnar's car gets refired and he can rejoin us in this race and see his overtaking prowess potentially from the pit lane. It is a 22 car field that then will take to the race start, at least. There is Martin Molnar with the car not quite fired up just yet. The Rodin mechanics looking over it, trying to sort it out. We'll take a look, though, at the starting grid, which has Nikita Bedrin starting for the 2nd consecutive pole. Deegan Fairclough will start from the front row of the grid for the first time this season. Max Rem alongside no one, unfortunately, as Martin Molnar will return his way to pit lane, so it's not an all-Rodin Road 2, but we do have Abby Pulling starting directly behind in 5th place, so a solid qualifying for Rodin. Patricio Gonzalez will start for VRD Racing alongside. He finished in 6th yesterday. Rowan Campbell-Pilling was able to work his way up into the top 5 yesterday. He was starting from 7th position alongside Lucas Flusha, who was outside the top 10. Then it's Jin Nakamura and Kyuho Lee, who both had top 10s on debut yesterday. Outside of the top 10, though, we go, and it's Rodrigo Gonzalez, the first of those, and it'll be Flynn Jacks alongside. More great speed from Flynn Jacks. Unfortunately, it would have been a retirement at the end of it, but he's definitely got the speed to get in the top 10. Alex Catoulis and Leon Wilson will start in 13th and 14th, the two that raced in GB4 last year. Dante Vinci had a retirement late on that caused a safety car. He'll be starting alongside Juhao Fu in 16th position for High-Tech TGR, and it's Kirill Kutskov and Peter Balzanelis starting from 17th and 18th. Row 10 has Aurelio Nobels and Ricardo Baptista, all Brazilian back there on row number 10. Two more rows to deal with. It's Jason Pribble, it's Jack Taylor, and in the final position on the grid, it'll be Lewis Gilbert. Hopefully that car is refired, but I do believe, unfortunately, that Martin Molnar has got out of the car, Piers.
See, that's a shame to hear, because Martin would have been looking for a good race in this one. Unfortunate, no start for Martin Molnar. He'll have to bounce back in that partial reverse grid race later on. The Rodin team will do everything they can to make sure he's out and okay for that one.
It is a bit of a shame, but again, sometimes that is just the thing with racing. You have to deal with some of those in the early stages, and you've got to accept that bad luck is going to go the way of everyone at least once this season. That's the nature of 24 races. It's not always going to be perfect.
No, absolutely not. I don't think there's ever been a driver in existence that's ever gone 24 races without any sort of issue. So Martin, I'm sure, it's also a test of their resilience, drivers, how they bounce back from setbacks like this, and it's something that they will have to learn and perfect themselves, because as they become professional racing drivers, they will have off weekends, they will have mistakes, they will have bad luck, and it's how you then deal with those that can often define a championship, and then championships can define careers.
Well, look at last year in the GB3 Championship, the first year of this brand new car, and yes, we've had the upgrade for the season, which is obviously amazing. But Alex Ninovic started out the season by not finishing on the podium in either of the first two races, finished 4th, 5th, and then retired the third one, and then went on to absolutely dominate the championship, winning it a weekend early, which is unheard of at this level.
Yeah, all is not lost if you haven't had the start to the season that you want. Of course, starting the season well gives you a lot of confidence and points on the board, and many times we see the champion in any category of racing have a good start to the year, because often the form doesn't change hugely over a season, but we have seen it in the past. You can see there a space being left for Martin Molnar's car. The cars cannot move forward a position on the grid. They must start where they were originally scheduled to do so. But it means that Patricio Gonzalez will have an easier, clearer run towards turn number 1 to drive into. But Abby Pulling potentially will be looking to fill that space with her car to not be vulnerable from Patricio.
25 minutes will be the race length, an estimated 14 laps for another victory potentially coming in for either front row drivers. Nikita Bedrin in the charcoal grey and the red. It's the silver, black and red of Deegan Fairclough on the front row, and for the second time in 2026 we are racing. It was a great start from Deegan Fairclough from the front row. Is he able to take over the race lead? Yes, he is. He is leading into the opening corner. There was also a great start a bit further down from Jin Nakamura, who was taking it 3 wide through the middle in the other high-tech car. Side by side for the race leaders, Nikita Bedrin. These two made contact at this point in the circuit yesterday, and Bedrin will fire his way back through into the race lead in that red highlight car. Brilliant move from Bedrin.
Once again, Bedrin not getting the best launch off the line, but able to retake positions later on in the first lap, as we can see Jason Pribble right underneath the rear wing of Jack Taylor in the 24. But we've got a battle for the lead for the second time. Side by side we go. It was Fairclough looking around the outside of Stowe, but Bedrin was able to block the inside line. Now can Fairclough have a look? We know Fairclough's aggressive. We know he doesn't mind an overtake. We saw it yesterday, as we now have battling further down the order as well. That's Jin Nakamura trying to make a move on Lucas Flusha. Nakamura was in the 4. He was one of the drivers that got a good start as well. So the high-tech drivers getting away from the line well.
Let's see if Deegan Fairclough is going to be his normal self and be a stone-cold sender into Village. There are some stone-cold sends behind us. That was Rodrigo Gonzalez trying to get past, I think, Lucas Flusha as well. Might have been Rowan Campbell-Pilling, actually, as there is Jin Nakamura rather getting past Lucas Flusha himself. Finally makes that move. A great battle between the pair of them as dropping back another position. Unfortunately, is that Flusha or would it have been Campbell-Pilling?
No, I think it is Flusha in the 7.
Yeah.
can't quite catch the numbers. We'll have a look on the way down to Brooklands as we head down the Wellington Straight. As there we go. We saw it yesterday when Fairclough was trying to get past Remy. Had a look up the inside of Brooklands. Couldn't get it done yesterday, and I don't think Bedrin's going to let Fairclough sneak up the inside that easily.
Who was it that Deegan Fairclough made doing that exact thing last year? Because he tried the late send into Brooklands a couple of times last year, and he definitely got involved. It might have been Ninovic, might have been Gianmarco Pradell.
I think it might have been Gianmarco Pradell, but that's our hazy memory there, Lewis, as we can see Jack Taylor having a look up the inside of Copse. That's a bold move on the number 11 of Peter Buzan-Ellis. Does he quite get that done? I think they're going to be side by side on their way down to Maggots and Beckett's. As further down the order, we've got the two elite cars there sandwiching the I think it's Rodrigo Gonzalez. It's Gonzalez. Once again, Flynn Jackson's had a good start. He's inside the top 10. We saw him get, I think it was up to 8th position yesterday, did Flynn Jacks, before unfortunately having to pull out and retire. Is now the number 8. Actually, no, that's Flynn Jacks getting pressured by the number 8 of Rowan Campbell-Pilling, and that's a great move into Stowe from Campbell-Pilling.
Brilliant display there, and an excellent bravery from the white, blue and pink of Rowan Campbell-Pilling, having just got past Kyuho Lee and up into 8th position rather. That was a brilliant move, and again, very, very brave.
Yeah, that was me actually. I made a mistake. I got the two elite yellow cars there mixed up. It was Kyuho Lee ahead of Campbell-Pilling, but now Campbell-Pilling's got through. So yes, Jack's just outside, well, just inside the top 10. Kyuho Lee, the leading elite car, the 22 up the inside, looking for a move into Village Corner. That's Rodrigo Gonzalez. You can see if you don't make a move successfully, you're then instantly under pressure, as Jack's now looking to make advantage of that. And who's that in the Fortec right behind, who's trying to also get involved? Aurelian Nobles. No, sorry, Peter Buzan-Ellis. He's stopped. That looks like the exit of Abbey Curve, maybe?
I think it's Village in the loop. It might be in that sort of area. You might be right, it could be Abbey, but either way, that car is pulled to one side to Buzan-Ellis, so we'll have to wait and see. It is Village and the loop. So just after Village, that new section was built in 2010. Unfortunately, that car off the racing line. That might require a safety car if they're unable to get it fired, because it is very much in the firing line. A 1 second lead for Nikita Bedrin, trying to build a gap over Deegan Fairclough to make sure that Fairclough does not have the DRS, which is active this lap. We've completed 2 laps of racing. We're on the 3rd as the 2XL cars fire their way through Maggots, Beckett's and Chapel, incredibly close, as they will continue to pick their way through. Of course, it was Flusha leading from Campbell-Pilling, who's clearly got some great speed. Yeah,
Fairclough got DRS. Also, Rem just about getting DRS, but Abby Pulling has fallen off the back of her teammate. Rem is now going to be under pressure from Patricio Gonzalez, and I can see on live timing that we're going to be expecting the safety car any moment now as that car of Buzan-Ellis gets retrieved.
Yeah, exactly. They can't race through this bit. You can't just do it under double waved yellow, so the safety car will have to be deployed. It won't neutralise the race for very long, that's for sure. But it does allow us to catch our breath just a touch. Nikita Bedrin had a great restart yesterday, didn't he? After Dante Vinci retired from the race about this point of the circuit. We had a safety car out for a little bit, and then Bedrin got the restart done very well. He did go very early though, didn't he?
Yeah, it did. Actually, we're up to pace very quickly in this race. I must say, conditions may be a little bit more favourable than yesterday. Bedrin's fastest lap in race 1 was a 50.3. Only on lap 2 did we have a 50.6 from Bedrin. And actually on this lap, before the safety car came out, Fairclough was 3/10 quicker in the first sector alone, partly due to that DRS that was open on the run down the Hangar Straight. But it looks like we're going to go very, very quickly into this race. No tyre saving from the front 2 by the looks of it so far.
And look, as much as it is in the hands of the fast lap, in the hands of Nikita Bedrin at the moment, Deegan Fairclough, though, as I said, he was looking pretty quick there and pacey. It's a very small factor, it really doesn't matter. There's no bonus point for it, but it's always one that I found quite interesting. I thought my spreadsheet was quite wrong at the time. Deegan Fairclough has never had a fastest lap in GB3. In the 25 races he's done previous, still yet to have a fastest lap. And I mean, it took him a while to get that victory. I think the chances of him having one here, they're certainly not zero.
Bedrin, I think, and his left rear wheel has lost his hub cover. This year we have a return with the black carbon covers. Look as he goes through turn 1, Lewis. There you can see the front wheel, black insert, rear wheel, no black insert. Now, not going to make a huge difference, but that'll have a slight impact on Bedrin's overall top speed. So that will maybe just give a little bit of an extra push for Fairclough to think, I might be able to get Bedrin towards the end of the race. I wonder which wheel was it that Bedrin had contact yesterday when we saw that tyre mark. Was it the same one? If he's running the same set of tyres, maybe that small contact he had on lap 1 yesterday, which had the tyre mark on that wheel, has just dislodged or loosened that wheel cover. And then if he's running those same tyres again in this race, it may well just have flown off. No,
surely it was I'm thinking back to it. Deegan Fairclough was on the inside, Nikita Bedrin was on the outside, so no, it had to be the other side.
Okay,
I'm pretty sure it was. But no, I mean, either way, you go through quite a lot. He had some very tight racing with Molnar yesterday, so the chance of there being something like that in that race that kind of lingers a little bit near. Like you say, those don't make that much of a difference. They do reduce drag by a fair amount.
Downforce it doesn't affect, but drag, just the whole point is it cleans up the airflow off the rear of the car, so it will have a slight drag increase for our leader Nikita Bedrin for the VRD team, but also a slightly more powerful tow, I would imagine, for Deegan Fairclough. Now we're talking minor differences here, but at the level we're racing at in GB3, those small differences can be the difference between winning and winning and second place. I don't know whether Fairclough will actually be able to see that or whether he'll be thinking about it, but it's just something to note.
Absolutely. So the safety car will be in at the end of this lap. 17 minutes left to go. By the time we get round it, probably about 16 minutes left to go. Should leave us about 9 laps of racing. So this will only potentially cost us the 1 lap being under this safety car. And maybe if we get some serious speed out of Nikita Bedrin, which obviously he's definitely got in his hands, we might not even lose that one indeed. So the safety car will pull away. Wonder if Bedrin will go as early as he did yesterday.
Yeah, he went a bit earlier than I think most drivers would have been expecting, and that was helpful for him as the safety car lights still on. No, they have been extinguished, so we are going to be going racing this lap. That's good news for us neutrals, Lewis. More racing laps. And you can see Bedrin, a telltale sign of a driver when they're thinking about going early, is they will really slow the pack down to give a big gap to the safety car, because you cannot catch the safety car up. Otherwise, you'll be expecting a penalty. Bedrin stops weaving now.
He's ready.
He is thinking about going, but I think Deegan Fairclough is going to be hot on his heels. We've seen Deegan Fairclough be strong at safety car restarts in seasons gone by, and he's gone on the entry to Brooklands, and actually a very strong restart. If he can consolidate and hold that gap over the start-finish line, that will be the putting Fairclough under pressure from Rem, pulling Gonzalez, Nakamura, Flusha, etc. as the front of the field. That looks like nearly a second's gap from Bedrin. Great restart, showing his experience.
Yeah, I was going to say that was really well put together, and just catching Fairclough a little bit out there, and there is some battling behind as it'll be Patricio Gonzalez trying to keep Jin Nakamura at bay, who's going for the up and under at the opening corner, but the outside line going into Magnus Beckers and Chapel, whilst there's solid potential with it. He's tried to follow the slipstream. He is looking over to that side, but will not commit to a move in that silver, red and black high-tech car. So it is going to be Patricio Gonzalez hanging on to 5th position. The 2 XLs keeping them very close company, but a nice clean restart that has Nikita Bedrin leading by 3/4 of a second.
Bedrin still not quite broken DRS, and once again Abby Pulling just falling close to the DRS range. She's just dropped off the back of Rem once again, and now we've got a battle between one of the hill speeds and the number 9 XL car of Ricardo Baptista. They go into Stowe. Looks at the back of shot. Baptista holding station so far and keeping hold of that position.
Yeah, Baptista is someone that we've not really seen too much of in this race, but has done solid work to progress from a little bit further down the field. I think it was about the 10th row, because it was all Brazilian on the 10th row. He did start from 20th position. Done a great job to work his way forward.
Yeah, Jason Pribble's actually had a pretty good race. He's moved up a few positions. He started down in 21st. He's up a couple into the mid-teens in the Seoul Nitrous Competitions ADM car towards the back of the field. Very distinctive liveries. We've got side-by-side battling for the bottom end of the top 10. Is that Flynn Jacks getting involved? I think it is, with Rodrigo Gonzalez.
Yeah, indeed. You got a couple of the elites in there, embroiled in this fight. Bit of the nose has just flicked off of that Fortec car, the white and red that's looking to the outside, the number 23 that belongs to Alex Catoulis, who's trying to send one around the outside. Obviously, he's well versed in driving in the bright yellow, as he did in the entirety of the GB4 campaign last year, but racing for Fortec in the white and red this time, and there was a little bit of contact there, or maybe just a big slide on power for Catoulis.
Yeah, I don't know what happened there, but a big handful of opposite lock from Catoulis out of the last corner certainly won't help his exit, and now he's under pressure as Rodrigo Gonzalez looks round the outside. Oh, I think I thought it was contact, but it was actually just the floor tray of Rodrigo Gonzalez bottoming out, and we're 3 wide into Maggots and Beckett's 2 wide. Look who that is, 27, Leon Wilson, slicing his way past 2, 3, 4 cars there maybe.
That was unbelievable from Leon Wilson, so brave to have done that, and yeah, I believe he's actually worked his way up into the top 10 in doing that. He's found his way past Rodrigo Gonzalez, he's found his way past Alex Catoulis, he also found his way in all of that past Kiho Lee, I think, and that was absolutely incredible.
Yeah, we saw we're looking closely at Catoulis' car there. He's lost the front nose cone cap, so that dart to the outside as we went down the Wellington straight just slightly misjudged it and caught the rear crash structure of the car in front, which pulled that nose off. It won't have a huge impact for Alex Catoulis, but not exactly helping, as we've got, is this a battle for the lead? No, that's Jin Nakamura and Patricio Gonzalez. Nakamura around the outside of Abbey is going to give him the outside for Village, looks for the cutback. Through the grass for 2 wheels goes Patricio, and now Lucas getting involved. Flusha just dangling his nose up the inside, oh so close to contact.
Lucas Flusha, race winner in race number 3 at Donington Park last year from the reverse grid pole. They've all got to watch out for the nose cone that's stricken there at the start of the Wellington straight. They will probably get that on the radio that it exists. There's a look to the inside from Nakamura as he's trying to make it. In the background, a battle between the 2 XL cars. The one on the inside was Rowan Campbell Pilling, and the number 8 looks to the outside going into Luffield. The 7 there of Lucas Flusha is able to hang on to 7th position, trying to get his first top 10 of the 2026 campaign. Just over halfway through the race, 12 minutes left to go. Should be 7 laps from this point.
Yeah, the front of the field, Bedrin and Fairclough stationary at 7/10. Rems dropped off the back, 2.3 seconds shy of our leading duo. Fairclough did set the fast lap on that last lap, 0.3 faster than we saw yesterday, 50.0. That's pretty damn quick, if I may say. I think the circuit conditions are definitely coming towards the drivers as the circuit rubbers in over the weekend. The cool air temperatures and the sun coming out now, pretty much ideal as we saw yesterday. And we cut back to this battle. That is the 9 of Baptista looking at the back of Dante Vinci. Or is it Baptista that's got through? And now the XL car looking at the outside as we run up, using the DRS, as everyone's got DRS on the 9th, or the 10 of Vinci that's losing positions? I think it is. Yes, it is.
Yeah, indeed. So Vinci's going to lose out. Fu also trying to get past in the number 5 car with the inside look in that silver, red and black. Tries to get past the number 10 of Vinci. Can't quite do it. And now it's Elite knocking at the door of Kutskov, who also could be embroiled in this fight, but might just want to watch these two as they battle it out onto the Hamilton straight. Fu looks to the outside to the number 5. Vinci will defend a little bit through Abbey. There is surely going to be an opportunity here into Village and the loop. A look to the inside for Fu. He goes to the left-hand side of your screen, goes full send, sends it in deep, and there's 3 wide behind as Kutskov as well was going side by side with one of the Ford techs, and suddenly they all come through and they're trying to pile through on Fu.
Yeah, I think unfortunately Vinci was just a little bit hesitant on the way into Village, and not only lost 1 place but lost 2 additional places, and now he's back on the attack as he looks underneath the rear wing of our 3rd Elite Motorsport driver of Kirill Kutskov with the green highlights. But unfortunately Vinci was the one that's been under pressure this whole lap.
Aurelio Noble's in the the second rather of those red and black, the one with the IBM sponsorship on it. That one for Hill Speed, that number 12 that we're looking at right now. Aurelio Noble's right onto the rear end of Vinci, now probably having to fend off the Arden that's making a look to the inside. Great to see Arden back in the GB3 Championship. The number 26 there of Lewis Gilbert from the back of the field trying to make the move. Had a crash in qualifying in the first qualifying yesterday, couldn't get involved in the second part of qualifying, so has to start this one from the back, keeping Jack Taylor at bay, keeping Jason Pribble behind as well in the red-black.
Oh no!
And what has happened to Deegan Fairclough? He's pulled over to one side, going out onto the hangar straight, and from second position, it doesn't seem like race victory's on the cards anymore.
Oh, such torrid luck for Deegan Fairclough. We didn't see what caused that, but crawling to a stop on the hangar straight, that's going to give Rem and Pulling the opportunity to, well, they'll move up one. Everyone who is 3rd Daniels will move up 1 place, but disappointment for Fairclough. What does he need to do to try and get a win?
Yeah, that's a tough one for Fairclough. He was very happy to finally get that victory after 23 races in the championship last season, but he's always had the pace to try and win more. The 2024 British Formula 4 champion, which he did in dominating fashion, record-breaking fashion, there a couple of years ago, and he was looking for very much the same thing. The safety car's been deployed courtesy of where Deegan Fairclough's car is, but what a big shame for Fairclough, who was targeting big things in this championship this year, and unfortunately, at least in race 2, it is going to slip through his fingers.
Yeah, the live timing tells a story at Sector 1, speed through the first speed trap, 151 kilometres an hour for Bedrin, 26.1 for Deegan Fairclough. Just unfortunately, it doesn't look like Fairclough did a huge amount wrong, though we didn't see, there may well have been extenuating circumstances, but disappointment. Bedrin, once again, will have to deal with another safety car restart. But this time, he's got the Rodin duo of Rem and Pulling right behind him, and there is Fairclough stranded on the hangar straight, looking around, dejected, understandably.
Yeah, indeed. Out of the high-tech car for Deegan Fairclough, and I'm sure it'll be up to you, Piers, to go and chat to him post-race.
Lucky me.
Yeah, I was going to say, better you than me. He's not going to be a happy boy after that one, which is, like you say, understandable. But Nikita Bedrin there is our race leader. Second victory on the card. 7 minutes and 30 seconds left to go. Likely outcome here is that I suspect the marshal should be able to clear that car with relatively. It's not in a particularly difficult spot for them to get that car rid of, so we'll at least get a few laps of racing later on.
Jin Nakamura's had a pretty good race. After that strong start, he's moved up a couple of additional positions. He's inside the top 5 now. A reminder, Jin Nakamura, driver that's doing a full campaign in FIA Formula 3 as well with the high-tech team, so dual campaigns as the safety car passes the stranded high-tech car of Deegan Fairclough. Rem and Pulling will be thinking, well, unfortunate for Deegan, but fortunate for me. And Lucas Flusha has also looked pretty racy in this one, hasn't he? As the two XL drivers of Flusha and Campbell Pilling sitting just outside the top 5 nose to tail. And again, Kyu-Ho Lee, 8th place, the leading elite car. He's a driver that has had limited car racing experience, but showing that he's very much comfortable at this level of GB3 racing.
Also, give a shout out to Abby Pulling after the retirement yesterday. Unfortunately for her, has had one podium in this championship before. Of course, that was Brands Hatch Race 3 last season. So this would be a first non-reversed grid podium for Abby Pulling at the moment. You having a great chat with Alice Powell coming into the race. Obviously, the amount of prep and work that goes into these events it cannot be understated, and that is from all around. Saw Deegan Fairclough very briefly there out of the car, and Dee Hamilton and stuff.
It was interesting chatting to Abby Pulling before the racing. I think we aired that interview where she was saying that she wants to be cool, calm and collected going into this year. A couple of times last year she let the occasion not let her be cool, calm and collected, but she seemed on the grid very relaxed. When I was chatting to her, I want to say mentor, I don't know what exactly job title Alice Powell would say she's in, but I would say mentor Alice Powell, who's got a lot of experience as a driver herself and a coach. But Abby Pulling was joking on the radio with Alice and trying to interrupt, so clearly in a relaxed mental space for this race, and so far it's working okay for her. I mean, she was just outside the podium, has now gained a position, but it's her second full season in this GB3 championship. She said in that interview that I had with her, she's going for the title, she wants to be up there fighting for wins, and this I think will give her a lot of confidence, the fact that she's been able to fight at the front. She was a couple of thousandths away from being, I think, was it second in the second part of qualifying or something like that, such how close it was, and those are the fine margins. But great to have a female genuinely fighting at the front of a well-regarded championship, because that's what the sport has been looking for the last few years.
And Abby Pulling is a fantastic talent. She's proven that in F1 Academy, obviously, winning the championship and such there. She proved it quite a lot last year. There was a little bit through the middle of the season where the pace kind of went away and couldn't find it. And I think that was maybe like the whole, maybe trying a little bit too hard, fighting every weekend to try and find it. Being a little bit more relaxed, sometimes that's where drivers do their best work.
Yeah, I was chatting to John on the grid about that. It's interesting how different drivers have. Well, everyone's got a different brain, it works differently. Some drivers respond well to being relaxed and jovial. Other drivers, as I mentioned, they really want to be completely focused, zen, almost meditative state to make sure that they can perform at their best, and each driver will find the way that works best for them, whether they find that they perform better when they're revved up and adrenaline fueled or in a zen-like state.
Nikita Bedrin, I'm pretty sure, is in a zen-like state at the moment, continuing to lead. Obviously has led all the laps of this race. Not technically led the entirety of the race, because Deegan Fairclough did steal it away for a one corner and then a bit of a straight and another corner before Bedrin stole it back. At the moment, though, is our race leader, and if the safety car is to come in at the end of this lap, realistically from where they are on the circuit, it will likely be just the single lap of racing left to go here in Silverstone for race 2. It's Nikita Bedrin in VRD leading the two Rodins, who have been the force to be reckoned with in GB3 for the last 3 seasons, 4 seasons, 3 seasons obviously, if you 23 to 25, where they've won all the drivers' championships, and this year is plenty more open. Like last year, I think we had a bit of a good idea coming out of Silverstone as to where things were going to go. This year, I haven't got a clue, mate.
No, absolutely not. We know that Nikita Bedrin is going to be strong, but of course this is only Silverstone, and the idea a bit more of an unknown quantity. We know Rodin, they win championships for fun in this kit series, don't they? They are the benchmark, let's be completely honest. High Tech have been there or thereabouts. They've taken wins and a championship in this category before. VRD, yes, they've had flashes of brilliance, but they've not been consistently performing at the front like those two other teams that I've mentioned. This may be the season that they take that step up into the top group. But if Bedrin can the question is, can Bedrin repeat this form at all the other circuits that we go to, both in the UK and out in Europe? Bedrin and VRD will be hoping that he can. I imagine Rodin and High-Tech and the rest will be hoping that he can't. But we know that the likes of Rem, Pulling and also Molnar, I imagine, based on his pace, will be there or thereabouts. Deegan Fairclough is also in the mix there as well. And also we will see drivers who have started this season either not well or middling force their way into the front and have a championship challenge, and they'll either be somewhere there or thereabouts at the end of the year, or they may even come back for a second season, as we now get ourselves ready to go racing again. Nikita Bedrin slows the field down. He went early this last time. Is he going to do the same thing again? Rem this time is the one that has to respond to our leader.
Indeed, Bedrin in control. Now he went, like you say, pretty much going into Brooklands last time. Before that, yesterday, he went halfway down the Wellington Straight, and this time he's leaving it much, much, much later. We hit the apex of Brooklands. When's he going to go? Is it going into Luffield? He's still being patient. He's still waiting. Right onto the rear end is Max Rem. He's ready to go racing as well. This is tricky. Going out wide here. I'm sure as soon as we leave the corner, the pedal will be put right down. And out through the final turn, it will be Nikita Bedrin then leading on to the final lap of the race. It's Max Rem behind. It's Pulling. It's Patricio Gonzalez and Jin Nakamura, the top 5, as they race down into the opening corner. Really close for Max Rem. He's taking a look to the outside. There'll be no DRS between now and the end of the race.
Yeah, brilliant restart from Nikita Bedrin, but actually arguably better from Rem. He responded very well and is closest of all 3 of them. And now look at that, Patricio Gonzalez side by side. We go with Abby Pulling through Maggots and Beckett's.
Yeah, it's Patricio Gonzalez with the yellow highlighted car who finds his way onto his first podium. Potentially, can he do it? He will settle for that one. Patricio Gonzalez did 12 races last year and didn't get a podium in any of them. Jin Nakamura is now going to try and make his way into the scene on the right-hand side of your screen of the silver car. Abby Pulling right in the middle in the black and white. And also into it, we've got Lucas Fluscher, a race winner last season. Abby Pulling looks back to the outside, the number 3. She goes full send, straight around the outside. Brilliant racing from Abby Pulling, who sends that Rodin back onto the podium, but she's got to defend hard. And it's firing his way through, and a big crash, unfortunately, for Patricio Gonzalez, who goes up onto the top of Abby Pulling, pushing her into the gravel track and into retirement from the second race of the season.
Drama between Pulling and Gonzalez. Pulling defended, Gonzalez went for it. A wheel-to-wheel contact sent Gonzalez airborne. He manages to carry on. Looks like, unfortunately for Pulling, her race has ended, and unfortunately that podium will not be coming her way. Now it's between Fluscher and Nakamura.
Yeah, this is brilliant, Fives. Like you say, you've got the XLs there trying to hang on to the podium in the form of Fluscher. You've got Jin Nakamura in there. A look to the inside from Rowan Campbell-Pilling, who's getting squeezed onto the apex of Aintree. And now he's going to try and go for the move, looking down the inside, going out to Brooklands. There's a bit of a brush between the pair of them as Nakamura is getting very defensive there in that silver car on the left-hand side of your screen. Into the penultimate corner of the track comes Rowan Campbell-Pilling. To the outside of the final one, he's going to try and steal away 4th position. It looks like ahead of him is going to be Fluscher. Ahead of him is going to be Rem, and ahead of him again, it's going to be Nikita Bedrin, back-to-back here at Silverstone. Bedrin crosses the line in a frantic restart here at Silverstone.
Bedrin back, a brilliant race win, once again a second of the year. Rem will be happy with second place. Flusha, great race from him, taking advantage of misfortune of others, and there is a despondent Abby Pulling. I don't know, she did a huge amount wrong there, if I'm honest. I'll have to have another look because it was very close into Vale, but exceptional move around the outside from Pulling of Stowe Corner. We haven't seen many drivers be able to pull off moves like that, but then it was so close on the way into Vale. Pulling defended. Patricio Gonzalez went for a move. There was space. Let's have a look at this again. So narrow. From this angle, it's so hard to tell.
Yeah.
Patricio Gonzalez was alongside, but was it too little too late? I have no idea. With this angle, it's so hard to tell. All I know is they were racing so hard, so close. They gave each other room through Stowe. Just it wasn't enough together. Well, they were too close together as they went through Vale. Maybe a bit late from Patricio Gonzalez. I would probably lean on that because as the overtaking driver, you're somewhat more responsible for not causing contact.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing that you could say to that is that maybe Abby Pulling is squeezing towards the apex when there is a car already there pushing Patricio onto the sausage curb.
Yep.
This is why we're not in race control. That will be not an easy one for them to go through. I can see it going either way. And normally, if I can see it going either way, I can see it as a racing incident.
Yeah,
They're racing hard. I don't think anyone did anything too crazy. Patricio's going for his first podium in GB3. Abby's going for her first podium in a non-reverse gridded race. It's early in the season. They're pushing each other to the absolute limit. It was frantic. The only thing that we know that we can say from that is both Abby Pulling and Patricio Gonzalez did not deserve to not be in that podium. They were both pushing each other to the limit. They both deserved the podium in that sense.
Yeah, they both provided such good racing. I mean, it was a great move from Patricio to get alongside through Magus and Beckett. It's a great return from Pulling, and that'll be the main story of this race, alongside the fact that we've had a double win for VRD and a double win for our leader Nikita Bedrin. He will of course inevitably lead the championship now, and he'll have a pretty tasty, considering it's only round 2, pretty tasty points advantage, because we've had so much chopping and changing of different drivers up and down the order. Maxim Rem will be, if my mental maths does me well, he'll probably be there or thereabouts too, but disappointment for so many drivers actually. I mean, Deacon Fairclough arguably deserved that second place as well, didn't he?
I mean, very quickly, it would be a 17-point lead for for Nikita Bedrin over Max Rem. Rowan Campbell Pilling, 2 fifth places, would give him 38 points, would be 32 off of the championship lead. 70 points today, the perfect start for Nikita Bedrin. Now, whilst it does look like that would be a massive lead in the championship, we all know what those third races are like a little bit later on in this afternoon, so everyone's got to soak up this moment and enjoy it.
Yeah, Nikita Bedrin once again pulling his mission-sponsored VRD car into the number 1 spot. How many times will we see that in 2026? Only time will tell. He's going to be pushing on to try and take as many wins as possible this season. Maxim Rem, I think he'll be happy with that. A second place. I think he probably would have resigned himself to at best a third. To come home second, he'll be thanking the lucky stars that he managed to take advantage of other people's misfortune. Deacon Fairclough arguably should have been on the podium, and then also the number 7, Lucas Flusha. He had an excellent race, didn't he? He came up from 8th place. Granted, a couple of the drivers ahead, of course, had issues, but he also raced his way forward as well. Lucas Flusha coming into 2026 with a renewed confidence, a renewed speed. The performances we're seeing this year are arguably even better than the strong performances we saw from the second half of last season when he really took a step forward.
Max Rem then, 3 podiums in a row. I was about to be like, when was the last time that someone had 3 podiums in a row in the championship? Let me take a look at the...
Go on, Lewis, give it to me.
Jean-Marc Patel did it all 3 races in Monza, so it actually really wasn't very long ago at all.
Well, actually, 6 months and 7 days ago.
So it was a long time ago in terms of time, not so much in terms of races. But Max Rem, either way, it is 3 podiums in a row. So clearly picking up where he left off last season, and even stronger than. And when he jumped into the championship in the final round of last season, we were saying about how quick and how impressive he was, and clearly once again just showing it here.
Yeah, exactly. Lucas Flusha then discussing that race with the XL Motorsport team, saying that he had a couple of moments where he was completely sideways, is my judge from the body language there. Excellent head of hair does Lucas Fluscher had. He said to me in an interview, he's like, can I wear my hat? I don't think my hair looks very good. And I was like, if my hair looked half as good as yours most of the time, I wouldn't be hiding it.
As if you are the one to complain about this. Piers Pryor, my goodness.
It's good job it's no comms cam right now, Lewis.
Well, either way, we'll go down to someone who's got a beautiful head of hair as well. Let's go down to Jon Jackson, who's catching up with our top three.
Yeah, thank you very much, Lewis. Nikita Bedrin was right next to me, and now he's run away, and there's a sea of people in the way. So we'll just make our way over to him as he talks things through with the VRD team. We won't talk about wraps too much here, but I'll grab a quick word with him. I don't know if you need a photo first. Have you had your photo? No. You've not had your photo. But do we need a photo first? Normally we need a photo first. Let's just talk quickly. Yeah. 2 races started, 2 races won. How was that one for you?
This one was a bit more tricky. Much better start than race 1. Still need to improve a little bit, but apart from that, I think the pace is always there. We had a great battle in the first lap, so really happy with that. And then, just controlled it. A few safety cars, of course. Last restart was not ideal, but wanted to try something different. It was kind of boring doing the same thing all the time. But good pace, good everything.
It's always quite tough when there's things to distract you when you're in the flow, I imagine, like a safety car. How do you stay focused out there?
I genuinely didn't really care much about it, to be honest. I mean, safety car. It's quite difficult to pass here on the restart, I would say. So I knew I had it under control. And then after the first few corners, I would have a gap. So.
Reverse grid race coming up. Any chance you can win that one as well?
I'm 100% positive on that. I think we have great chance of doing that. We have great pace, especially in the afternoon. We are really quick. So hopefully we'll have a good race, and really looking forward to it. It's going to be fun for sure.
And the VRD cars are looking pretty fast this weekend.
Yeah, I think we've done a great job over the winter to set them up good.
Excellent. Well, congratulations on another race win.
Thank you.
There we go, Nikita Bedrin with VRD. We're going to find Maxim Rem, another podium for him. We'll spin around a few degrees here. Rodin doing very well. Very unlucky that Avi Pulling wasn't on the podium as well. And Maxim has now made it 3 podiums in a row, which is really, really cool. I'm going to have to jump in here, sorry. That's 3 podiums in a row for you now, because of course you were in Monza at the end of last year. How was that one for you?
Yeah, I think I have every step now, 1, 2 and 3. But I think the race was like pretty chill, to be honest. Like from the start on, I was just sort of settling in, and I guess then obviously unluckily for Deegan, he had an engine issue, and I sort of stayed in P2. I had a little chance into T1 after the safety car restart, but he closed the door, and then it was just sort of following him in the dirty air. Couldn't really do much. I think we're still lacking a bit of pace, have to work on that, but let's see what we can do in the reverse grid. It's going to be a fun race, and
We've already seen a huge competitiveness with the group of drivers that we've seen at the front so far. Is that a good thing for you? Do you feel that you drive better when you have more pressure?
I don't really care, to be honest. It's like I just try to make the best, whatever the circumstances are, so yeah.
Focus on your own race.
Yes, exactly, yeah.
Well, congratulations, you've now ticked off all of those different trophies, and I'm sure they'll look great wherever you put them.
Yes, mate, thank you.
Maxim Rem there. Let's come around and speak to Lucas Fluscher. There's been some huge celebrations here, celebrating with friends and family. How are you feeling? You've been celebrating with everyone, it seems.
Yeah, definitely an unexpected podium. My parents, they were watching it from the hotel, and obviously it was on the second part of the last lap, so it was unexpected, but managed to get it.
That was a real battle towards the end there, a little bit of chaos. How was it from where you were sitting?
I just tried to keep the mind cool. I knew something was going to happen because it was really close racing. Just waited behind a bit, wasn't over pushing, wanted to save some tires for the last laps. And that's just what we did. We just stayed back, saved some tires, and then let all the chaos happen and just drive through.
You already had success so far this season. It feels like you're making some great progress. Have you changed anything? Is there something that you can put it down to?
Just hard work, to be honest. We've been working with the team really hard. They've definitely been helping a lot on the last few months to make the step, because we come from P3 also, so it's kind of they've helped me make that step a bit smaller, coming from the P3 to the single seaters again. So big thank you to the team for helping me, and just hard work with everyone, with my engineer Antoine, with Dean, with Ian. Just working hard and getting there little by little, and now we're here.
I'm sure there's much more success to come. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
So we go from Lucas to Lewis, who'll talk you through the podium.
And again, great time to chat to Lucas Flusha once again, having that victory back in Donington at the end of last season. Did have a few top 10s throughout the year, kind of built that up as the season was going on, then had I think it was 6 top 10s in the last 7 races. Started out with a 12th place finish this weekend, which wasn't so good, but it kind of doesn't tell the full story. Actually had some really good speed in yesterday's race, and then rounding it out with a 3rd position here. So we'll see him be the first driver to make his way onto the podium for Excel. I mean, they'll be pretty excelled by it. Nice. Obviously, Rowan Campbell-Pilling being in 5th position for the 2nd consecutive race, so a solid performance from the team, picking up the pieces of those ahead and making a great restart to the race from the team generally, and of course kind of finding their way through the Patricio Gonzalez-Abby Pulling battle, which I'm sure we'll try and catch up with the pair of those post-race. By the way, Patricio Gonzalez was able to come through into 11th position at the end of all of that. There's Lucas Flusha, we're just chatting to, on to 3rd position. Into 2nd for the 3rd consecutive race, we'll see Max Rem on the podium. He's finished 1st, 3rd and 2nd, so he's done all steps of the podium over the last 3 races, and yes, they are separated by 6 months. On to the top step of the podium for the 2nd consecutive race, though, it is Nikita Bedrin, who, in that interview, at least to Jonas, seems very confident in the idea of repeating that one and doing it in the 3rd race. In GB3's history, at least under the GB3 title, which of course we got in August 2021, no single driver has won all 3 races of a given weekend. So, I mean, maybe trying to make history here in the opening round. I will say, for the first couple of years, at least under that GB3 branding, we did have to do the reverse grid was the entirety of the grid. It was only last season or so where it was the top 12 that were reversed instead of the entire field. I remember Luke Browning having to do that from the back of the field in 22 whilst battling in the championship with Yoel Granforce. Great battles back then, great battles this season, great battles in that race as well, which now we'll take some highlights of. Highlights from round 2 of the GB3 Championship, partnered by the BRDC. Molnar, unfortunately, would have to start from pit lane, leaving 4th position open on the grid. But from the front row, it was a perfect start from Deegan Fairclough, making his way past Nikita Bedrin at the opening corner, as he would be able to take over the race lead. It wouldn't last long, though, as Bedrin was going back on the attack straight away on the run into Maggots, Beckett and Chappell. Straight around the outside of Chappell, he would be taking over that race lead once more. Nikita Bedrin back to the front. Behind that, Jack Taylor trying to find his way past Bowser Nellis at the opening corner. They were again battling it out time and time again. This is outside of the top 10. There's a lot of these drivers were just trying to find that early progress. Bit of contact there, flicking those off of Catoulis's car, leaving a bit of debris on the Wellington straight. As a look to the outside from one of the XL cars trying to get back into it, Lucas Flusha, Dante Vinci had a couple of the other ones that were involved in that fight really getting their elbows out. There would be a safety car, unfortunately, with the retirement of Deegan Fairclough, which would then leave Nikita Bedrin back to the front of the field. Behind that, as we had Kutskov trying to keep one of the Vortex at bay, Jack Taylor trying to get around the outside, but getting squeezed off and then dropped behind the trio, trying to work their way through behind a couple of the Hill Speeds and one of the Ardens as well, as Nikita Bedrin was starting to run away. This is where Deegan Fairclough's retirement came in, unfortunately getting onto the power going through Beckett's. It would cause the safety car, and then Nikita Bedrin would once again lead us away. Max Rem keeping very close behind, and the battling was all behind though. It was Patricio Gonzalez and Abby Pulling going side by side. It was Abby Pulling trying to work her way back through, Jin Nakamura trying to make it 3 wide, and Lucas Flusha also into the mix. A great move back around the outside from Abby Pulling to try and steal away 3rd position. Patricio Gonzalez though up and over the top of the car. Ahead of all that though, it was a brilliant drive from Nikita Bedrin to win his 2nd consecutive race in GB3. And we'll take a look at some, I'm sure, very provisional results from the 2nd race of the GB3 Championship, partnered by the BRDC. It's Bedrin ahead of Rem, ahead of Flusha, the 3 drivers we just caught up with. Jin Nakamura into 4th position, his best result in this championship so far, with Rowan Campbell-Pilling 5th position for the 2nd consecutive race. It's Lee, it's Rodrigo Gonzalez, Wilson up to 8th, Catoulis and Baptista. Give a shout out to Baptista from 20th to 10th, which is very good on this field. Patricio Gonzalez would actually finish the race down in 11th position with Flynn Jacks, Kutskov, Fu, Nobles, the top 15. Then behind that, Lewis Gilbert from the back of the grid up to 16th, Jack Taylor into 17th, Jason Pribble, Dante Vinci and Abby Pulling would be registered as 20th position. Then it's Deegan Fairclough and Bowson Ellis 21st and 22nd. Deegan Fairclough for the first time in his GB3 career though does get at least the fastest lap. I'm sure that won't mean anything to him as he will still walk away from this race with 0 points from it despite all of the hard work. Championship wise, you'll not be shocked, it is Nikita Bedrin leading by a very, very comfortable margin. After that it will be 17 points ahead of Max Rem, who did join him on the podium in both the races. 32 points clear of Rowan Campbell-Pilling, Jin Nakamura and Lucas Fluscher will be the top 5 in the standings, leaving the second race of the championship. Of course, we know how these championships play out. Starting out strong is important, but it's the consistency that really matters, especially when it comes down to that third race, that reverse grid race later on. Before that though, we'll have to head down into the paddock to go and catch up with a lot of our drivers. Let's head down to Piers Prior.
Thanks very much, Lewis. Got Jin Nakamura down here as one of our drivers who had made some positions in that one. Jin, 4th place in the end there, from 9th on the grid. I know some good fortune went your way, but you still made some good moves.
Yeah, it wasn't bad race. So yeah, I had a quite good first lap. Then yeah, I made position P7. Then yeah, but a little bit shame for last lap. I could be on the podium, I think. But yeah, it wasn't a bad race.
I feel like you've got to grips with this GB3 car very quickly. You've come in for the start of the season. I know you're also dovetailing this with a Formula 3 campaign as well. The racecraft was good in that one. It must be pretty good confidence-wise for you to be able to make some good moves.
Yeah, I think this race too wasn't bad. But yesterday I was too shy. Like, yeah, my driving too shy, and I couldn't, push enough. So it was my bad point yesterday. Then I think, I improved quite a lot from yesterday, so it was very good.
Is there much you have to change in your driving, in your racecraft, going from the Formula 3 car to the GB3 car?
Yes, of course. I have to manage quite a lot for the tire in Formula 3, but in GB3 car, you can push all the time like crazy. So yeah, it's really good, nice.
I'm glad that you enjoy it. Jin, great to have you in the championship. A solid result in the start of your season. We'll see how you go on in race 3. Off you go and get cooled off for the team. And I'm going to grab Flynn Jacks, a returning driver. Flynn, one of the drivers that's... Actually, you're the most experienced driver on the grid now. However, these results, the last couple of races, are really unfortunate yesterday. Got yourself well inside the top 10 of DNF, not due to your own fault. But again, another strong result in this one.
Yeah, I mean... Sorry, just before I'm quite sick, so just ignore the voice.
It's okay, mate. We will forgive you. Sometimes we get husky as well.
Yeah, pre-season was really strong, and coming into this weekend, we've just had a couple of hiccups throughout the weekend. Thursday, my engine was breaking down. Next day, got a new engine because of it, and then went to the race weekend, and then that engine had an issue. So I'm now on my third engine this weekend. So it's just like I feel like I'm playing catch up a bit.
Yeah. But I mean, if catch up is solidly inside the top 10. This is, I would say, arguably your strongest performance we've seen so far, and I've seen a gradual improvement. You're getting closer and closer to the front. How long till a Finn Jack's podium? I think it's on the cards.
Oh, yeah, maybe. I'm going to hope for race 3 because I've got a good starting position there.
Okay, let's talk about that race 3. You've been in this championship a year or a couple of years now. You know how that race 3 works. Remind us your starting position for that one.
I think I'm out front. Yeah.
Yeah, you're out front. So. I suppose what's the approach for that one?
Head down, focus on one race, go off.
Flynn, great to have you in the championship once again. Thanks very much for joining us, and good luck in race 3. I'll let you go and chill out with the team. I think we were hoping to grab a word with one more of our drivers, but I think we're pretty much dried up here. So a dramatic race 2 here at Silverstone Grand Prix circuit for the second round of the championship. Our front 3, the front of the field, Nikita Bedrin was the one that everyone's trying to beat. Maxime Rem's going to be right there or thereabouts. So that's going to be pretty much it, I think, very shortly. Looking forward to race 3. A reminder that that's coming up shortly. Later on, I say shortly, actually quite a while now, before race 3, that partial reverse grid. Race 3 is coming up next, and here is what we have left for this afternoon. That partial reverse grid, a reminder, top 12 being reversed, is going to be at race start 5:25. So join us pretty much about 5 o'clock if you want to be seeing how those drivers get on. I'm looking forward to seeing Nikita Bedrin have to fight his way through the field. He was our pole sitter, so we'll go from 12th place. We've seen action up and down the order very much. Make sure you tune into that, but don't forget we've also got GB4 before we have then as well, so stick around and keep an eye on the MSV TV YouTube channel to see how that goes. I think the racing has been excellent so far today. We've seen so much side-by-side action. Silverstone always provides excellent racing. The weather is absolutely perfect. There's still time. If you're nearby, you can come down to Silverstone Grand Prix circuit today and have a watch. We've got the other races on as well. It's been a perfect start to the year. Very much enjoyed that so far. A lot of stories as well. We've spoken to Leon Wilson. He's a driver that's moved up from GB4. He's moved his way through the field. Patricio and Rodrigo Gonzalez and VRD, they're going to be using the experience. But that's all we've got time for now. Please make sure you join us about 5 o'clock. And just before we end, that's pretty much it.
I've got some amazing breaking news.
Oh, go on then.
You know, we were talking yesterday about the Willis Tower.
Oh, God, go on.
All I'm going to say is I've just been chatting with a family member. It might seem a bit random if you weren't watching yesterday, but if not, go back and watch the show. Ahead of the third race, I've got some big news. It's a tease. Make people watch later.
Okay, join us for about 5 o'clock. Race start 5:25 for the final race of this weekend here at GB3. We'll see you then.